Sweeping techniques, how to do it and when to do it is the topic of this presentation. It is presented from the coach's point of view. There are four types of actual sweeping action, and they are based on the disturbance of balance. When balance is disturbed up to the 50%, outcome is confusion. When balance is disturbed 50 to 90%, that's number two. Now this is the illusion of sweep. When balance is disturbed up to 100%, that is distraction of balance, and that's total sweeping. And the number four is a hand sweep. It is a attraction. Become very, very interesting to look such action. Direction and level of sweep. Balance is the most basic function of the human body. Two-legged posture, that is unique to human. Birds as well, but that's outside the rim of this. Two-legged posture is not very stable. At any time that balance is interrupted, uncertainty will occur, and that is time to execute follow-up techniques. In martial arts, focus of sweeping is to sweep and to harm opponent. And here, sweeping is done in three different levels. Sweeping above the knee level is done in downward direction. It is used only in martial art. At the knee level, sweeping is done in horizontal direction, and that also is done only in a martial art. And the martial art also had the option to sweep below the knee. In sports karate, concept is a little bit different. Sweep, but do not harm. Sweeping in sports karate is a new kid on the block, arrive later as a part of the need for more attractive competition. In sports karate, sweeping is done only below the knee level, and it is done in uplifting or ungluing type of direction. Now, let's examine a little bit of science behind the sweep. There are four reasons why sweeping is puzzling, if not confusing. Reason one, consider anatomy of the bottom of the foot vis-a-vis sweeping in sports karate. We remember, sweep, do not hurt. Outside part of the foot is an area of very high friction and presents great resistance to sweeping. The bottom of the heel is an area of moderate friction and presents significant resistance to sweep. Contrary to that, inside arch of the foot offer no friction and present no resistance to sweeping. So, looking this, what is the conclusion? From the bottom of the foot, lack of the friction over inside part of the foot, inside out sweep is the choice. Not so fast. This is only one out of four reasons. Reason two, consider anatomy of the bones of the lower leg vis-a-vis again sweep. Tibia, what is the inside bones of the lower leg, is very strong and resistance to sweeping attack. On the other hand, outside fibula, outside bones of the lower leg, is weak and it is vulnerable to a sweeping attack. Therefore, conclusion from the skeletal structure, what is that? Due to the weak fibula, outside-in sweeping is the choice. Again, not so fast, that's only second reason. Reason number three is distribution of pain receptor on the lower leg. Tibia have a lot of pain receptors on the tibial plateau, and they are covered only by the skin, and they are vulnerable to the pain of the sweeping attack. Opposite from that, fibula is covered with a muscle that protect pain receptor, which are now deeper below and can resist pain or sweeping attack. So if we look pain receptor, what conclusion will be? Due to the lack of muscle over inside part of the lower leg, inside out sweep is the choice. Again, not so fast. That's number 3. So last, number 4 reason. Examines the range of the motion of the leg involved in sweeping. Skeleton restrict movement of the leg from outside in. Skeletal provides unrestricted movement from inside out. On the base of that, what we can say, because leg in front cannot move over the standing leg, outside in sweep is the choice. And again, not so fast. That's number 4. So if we examine all these 4 things, anatomical structure involved in sweeping, favorable sweep in which direction, and if we look at bottom of the foot, bones of the leg, pain, receptor, range of motion, we can see we're divided 2 against 2. From the anatomical and biomechanical point of view, what we can summarize? There is no good or bad sweep. There is only one sweep, and that's a functional sweep. Now, what is a functional sweep? It is the final point of all action. And what are the components of functional sweep? There are 2 really. Direction in which opponent will fall and follow-up action. Equipment must be used aggressively to develop 1, sweeping muscle, and 2, sweeping motion. All the components of biomechanics of the sweeping motion need to be drilled, developed to its optimum. Explosive power should dominate in this type of practice, and developing all muscle action involved in sweeping need to be done again as effectively as possible. Sweeping must be followed up with a scoring technique. Now why? Because in sports karate, sweeping alone is not scoring technique. Without scoring technique, for instance, this beautiful sweeping action is just that, beautiful action. There are no scores. So, let's look 4 types of sweeping. Type 1, confusion. When confusion is become evident when balance is broken down up to the 50%. So what do we have? We have a read, response, restore. Read. Which part of brain reads what's happened? Is a motor cortex center or a voluntary movement. That's a training center. That's where we learn when we train. And that is also a conscious part of our brain. So, reading device. Respond. Now, cerebellum is a center for fast, dynamic movement, for a center for a posture and a balance. So what is cerebellum does? Respond. Respond to whatever cortex read. Then finally, we need to restore 2-legged posture. Which part is involved in restoring? It is a skeletal muscle. That's a place of action where balance will be restored. In up to 50% sweeping, brain reads clearly only one thing at a time, and that's usually strongest signal before reads the other. When 2 points are hit at the same time, the outcome is confusion. At this point, follow-up techniques need to be executed. So we have attack, sweeping action, and scoring point. Attempt to sweep with a kick-like motion will partially break a balance. Immediate follow-up with a punch to the head as a scoring technique is necessary. Type 2, illusion. The illusion is happening when balance is broken to about 50 to 90%. Again, we have a system read, response, restore. In 50 to 90% sweeping, brain read break of balance and immediately act to restore stability. Illusion of balance lost is a moment for follow-up technique to end the sweeping and to score. So, if we have a kick to the head in combination with attempt to sweep with a kick-like motion, this will create illusion of purposeful attack that will result in partial breakdown of balance. That moment, follow up with a punch to the head as a scoring techniques is opportunity and should not be missed. Type 3, distraction. Now here is a total break of balance, 100%. Again, system, read, response, restore will be activated. Even in 100% distraction of balance, the brain will respond, act to restore its balance back. Ending technique need to be executed immediately to take advantage of this total destruction of balance. Opponent is attacking with a punch and that attack is stopped. It is immediately follow up with a total sweep, which is again immediately follow up with a kick to the head as a final scoring techniques. And number 4, attraction. This is a sweep with the hand. Now, here, mechanism read, respond, and restore is put to his maximum challenge. Why? In the hand sweep, immediately follow-up response with the scoring technique need to be fast, deliberate, and effective because danger of counterattack here is greater compared to the same in a leg sweep because in this situation, one who is doing the sweeping is very close to the opponent's leg. Hand sweep again is very attractive, but can be very dangerous. Planning sweeping from the beginning to the end, or really from the learning basic biomechanics to the competition. About 10% of total time is learning biomechanics. Another 50% learning by the using equipment. That really tells that most of the work in getting ready for a sweeping is done on equipment. Learning in working with the opponent, about 30%, and finally in competition, the learning is really just about 10%. Directional sweeping comes in 3 different forms. Advanced athlete is capable to sweep in a straight line, Main-Gary-like sweep. Now, intermediate athlete need a little bit more curve to attack opponent's leg, and that is like Mikazuki Gary-like sweep. And beginner, they need a wide range of motion like Mawashi Gary in order to sweep the opponent. Conclusion, part 1. Functional sweep when fighting in the center of the ring. Direction of fall here is important, and that had to be either in the center of ring you can fall forward, you can fall backward, and it is done anytime you are in the center of the ring. So directional sweep comes from the front to the back or from the back to the front. Conclusion part 2. Functional sweep when fighting on the line of the ring. This will not make no sense to now sweep opponent to fall outside of the ring. So direction here is sideways. It is done anytime you're fighting on the line of the ring. So direction is done inside out or outside in. And conclusion part 3, it is effective end point of technique is required for each of the 4 types of sweeping techniques. Without that effective end, there is no sweep. Material presented here come from the book Sweeping Technique, Concept of Total Development of Sweeping Skills and the Defense Against Sweeping. This presentation is just one single drop of water in the ocean of the knowledge of karate. Us!